The first thing Sarah felt when she stepped into the small Ohio cafe was not hope, but a quiet fear that settled deep in her chest, the kind that asks whether today will hurt the same way yesterday did. She had chosen a loose gray sweater instead of the red dress folded untouched in her closet, tied her hair back without effort, and wiped away the makeup she once used like armor. What if you were about to meet someone who only knew your name and a few typed words, and you already believed they would walk away the moment they truly saw you? Would you still show up, or would you turn back before the door closed behind you? Sarah had learned early how quickly beauty could erase her voice. Growing up in Indiana, she was praised for her face before her thoughts, admired before she was known, desired before she was understood. Men listened until they looked, and once they looked, they stopped listening. Compliments came easily, commitment never did, and heartbreak followed her like a familiar shadow. By the time she moved to Columbus for a new job and a quieter life, she had grown tired of being chosen for the wrong reasons. So when she agreed to a blind date arranged through a small church group, she made a decision that surprised even her. She would hide the part of herself everyone always saw first, and see what remained. Michael arrived 10 minutes early, standing near the window with a posture shaped by years of disappointment he never spoke about. He'd been married once, long enough to believe it would last, short enough to feel foolish for believing. When his wife left after discovering she wanted a different life, Michael blamed himself for not being enough in ways he could never fully define. Since then, dating felt like reopening a wound that never quite healed. He came to the cafe expecting nothing more than polite conversation and another quiet reminder that connection was harder than it looked. When Sarah noticed him, she felt the urge to smooth her sweater, to apologize for not being what people usually expected. Instead, she sat down and breathed through the moment. Their conversation unfolded slowly, without sparks or performances, just two people circling each other carefully. Michael spoke about his work fixing elevators across the city, about the strange peace he felt when suspended between floors, alone with the sound of cables and hums. Sarah shared pieces of her life without revealing the full weight of her past, talking about long walks, old movies, and how silence could feel like a friend when chosen rather than forced. As time passed, something unfamiliar happened. Michael listened without drifting. His eyes didn't search the room or linger on her appearance. He responded thoughtfully, sometimes pausing as if her words deserved space. Sarah felt seen in a way that unsettled her more than rejection ever had. What if this was what it felt like to be valued for the parts no mirror could reflect? And if you were her, would you dare to let yourself want more when wanting it always led to pain? They met again the following week, and then again after that. Walks replaced dinners, conversations replaced expectations. Sarah continued to dress simply, not as deception but as protection, unsure how to bridge the distance between who she was presenting and who she truly was. Michael, for his part, felt something opening inside him that he thought had closed forever. Her presence brought a calm he hadn't known since before his marriage fell apart. A steady warmth that didn't demand anything but honesty. Yet beneath Sarah's growing affection was a tightening fear. She knew the truth could not stay hidden forever. There would come a moment when the red dress would appear, when the world would remind Michael that she was beautiful in ways that once drove people away. Late at night she wrestled with guilt, wondering if she was betraying him by withholding a part of herself. But she also wondered if revealing it would undo everything they had built. What did that say about love? The moment came unexpectedly on a rainy Sunday afternoon when Michael invited her to a small gathering at his sister's home in Kentucky. Sarah hesitated, then arrived wearing the dress she had avoided for months, her hair loose, her presence suddenly impossible to overlook. The room shifted when she entered, eyes turning, whispers starting. Michael noticed too, not with shock, but with a quiet stillness that made Sarah's heart pound painfully. She waited for disappointment, for the subtle withdrawal she had learned to recognize. Instead, Michael felt a strange ache, not of jealousy or anger, but realization. He saw how the room reacted to her and understood, perhaps for the first time, the loneliness that kind of attention could bring. He noticed how Sarah shrank slightly under the stairs, how her smile tightened, how she stayed close to him like someone bracing against a storm. In that moment, he didn't see the beauty she had hidden. He saw the cost of it. Later, alone with his thoughts, Michael reflected on his own wounds, on how easily he had mistaken being chosen for being loved in his past. He recognized the courage it must have taken for Sarah to show up as she did in the beginning, stripped of armor, risking invisibility rather than objectification. The heart he had been searching for, the one he needed to heal his own, had been there all along, quietly offering him truth instead of illusion. Their relationship did not transform overnight. Trust, once bruised, does not bloom without patience. Sarah learned to believe that she could be fully herself without being reduced to one dimension. Michael learned that love could be steady, not dramatic, deep rather than dazzling. Together, they faced the discomfort of being seen, of allowing joy without waiting for it to be taken away. If you were standing where Sarah once stood, would you have hidden? Or would you have risked everything for the chance to be known? And if you were Michael, would you have recognized the gift in front of you? Or would you have let fear decide for you once again? Years later, when life inevitably tested them with loss, illness, and moments of doubt, they returned to that first cafe in memory, to the quiet courage it took to show up honestly. Their love was not built on perfection or performance, but on the rare decision to choose depth in a world that rewards surfaces. Before the story ends, I want to ask you something from the heart. If this story stirred something inside you, please share in the comments what part touched you the most or reminded you of your own journey. And if this story truly moved you, inspired you, or made you reflect on the power of second chances, please consider liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing, so more hearts can find stories like this when they need them most.